Good evening, everyone. This is Bob Gumbs bringing you the Concerned Forum from Kampala, Uganda. And if you hear the music in the background, it's Billy Joel. When I'm homesick, I love to hear Billy Joel. It makes me think of good days, better days. Well, I won't say better days. Let's just say different days. Everybody gets homesick when they're away from home. To the business at hand. Charlie, oh, by the way, look just popped up here. Charlie Kirk fears will be uh toxically, what's that word there? Toxically feminine after Hogan's death. Yeah, Hulk Hogan died today. Um, they say don't speak ill of the dead. I won't. I won't waste your time or mine talking about the late Hulk Hogan. He was a racist and he's dead. Okay, now to more important thing. Epstein, I'm going to tell you what really annoys me, really pisses me off. Anybody with half a brain can see that our country right now is in shambles. America is in shambles. Okay? What are we, MAGA, the Oath Keepers. These guys basically they got what they wanted. They wanted what's his face? Donald Trump in the White House for a second time, right? And they got him. And basically, I would say that most of their supporters are the ones catching a whole lot of hell. Because unfortunately for them, Trump has really done them a job. Meemaw's getting ready to be thrown out of the nursing home because they're killing Medicaid. So I hope they're happy. I really do. The country is now torn apart. We're all at each other's throats. And the rest of the world, I can tell you right now, because I'm on the outside looking in, and I will tell you that most of the civilized world thinks that we have gone stark, raving mad. And I tell you, I'm inclined to agree with them. So why? How did we get into this situation? Well, we got into this situation because somebody told Middle America that, hey, we're being invaded by brown people coming from south of the border. That's why my paycheck looks like a joke. And that's why my quality of life is in the toilet. Because of all these brown people coming, like a herd of roaches taking over America. And guess what? It was a lie. It was a filthy, bigoted, racist lie by people who just wanted to take power of the United States. There was no invasion. People have been coming from south of the border, going up into California, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, etc., for the last 10,000 years. Anthropologists tell us that. It was just the movement of people. And, taking Texas, for example, my God, you couldn't find a more bigger group of dedicated Republicans than Mexican Americans in Texas. So what the hell was the beef ever about in the first place? I saw something, what's his name? I can't pronounce the brother's name. Luisamo. I'm not going to keep trying because I don't want to disrespect him. But he's a homie, right, from New York. And he was on the show with, what's his name? Bill Maher, right? Who used to be at one time my favorite comedian. in America. And I don't know, Bill Maher, for some reason, he put down the American flag and decided to pick up a white sheet. But like my homie from New York said, hey man, what's the big deal? Because you got land that's not a problem here in the United States. And we have Bill Maher, the son of Irish and Jewish parents, which means the son of immigrants or the grandson of immigrants, uh, talking like he was part of MAGA. And I just don't understand what the hell it is with people over the last 10 years. Um, Mehdi Hassan, oh, I love that brother, but he has this show, and I was looking at it on YouTube. You have all these young white Aryan power Nazis and whatnot. I'm like, oh, this is a white man's country. How is that? When they say, oh, you're an immigrant, you're not an American. Well, we naturalize immigrants and make them American. We have a very good history of doing that since about 1776. So what the hell is the problem? You know, we brought in the Irish, we brought in the Italians, we brought in the Eastern Europeans. I mean, what is your damn problem, man? And see, that's what MAGA is all about. Basically, the whole thing with MAGA is about race and gender. Okay? I mean, from what I see looking at it from the outside, if you're a white woman, especially a white working class woman, that's willing to keep her mouth shut, then you're cool. I guess you're one of the good ones. But if you're a white woman with a little education and a little critical thinking skills, then you're a liberal bitch. Yeah. And I'm sorry, that doesn't help our situation here in America. Excuse me, in America, it really doesn't. And I see people in MAGA now; they're falling to pieces behind this whole Epstein thing. Oh, you didn't think that Donald Trump was a pimp? You didn't think that your president trafficked in underage women? Where the hell have you been? See, I'm going to tell you something. I know I'm merciless when I talk about criticizing MAGA. And I'll tell you why I'm merciless. Because you ripped up my country, man. You ripped up my home. I mean, I know I'm a descendant of Africa, but I'm also an American, right? Just like your family, right? European. Okay, but you became American. Well, I was forced to become an American over 400 years. And everything that was good and decent about America, you feel that you have to tear it to pieces. So now, you're upset because you're thinking, oh God, Donald's on the Epstein list and he's trying to hide. Hey, the man is a criminal. You voted and supported and pushed for the election of a convicted goddamn criminal. So what in the do you expect? Yes, the country's in a mess. It's going to get worse. The whole world is looking at the United States like we're a bunch of jackasses. And it's your goddamn fault. And I'm pissed. I truly am. Because you encourage your friends and neighbors to vote against their own financial economic interest and to vote against the commonwealth, the body politic. So why would you expect anything different? Our trade is suffering. Oh, what's this now? We're going into August in a few days. What happens when, mom and me, mom, want to go to all the stores and want to buy school supplies and they see the prices are sky high? Well, what the hell do you expect? Your orange god launches a trade war. Do you think that there's not going to be any repercussions? And one thing else I want, on this particular subject that I want to put in, I'm living here in Uganda, and maybe I'm overstepping my bounds, but guess what? I happen to be a dark man, right? Right now, the government of my country is in the hands of people who believe that dark men like myself are just a half an inch above the gorilla. Now, I see Trump and his crew are busily trying to create problems in Southern Africa. Let me say right now, there is no mass genocide against white Afrikaners. Okay? I'm here in the crossroads of Central Africa. If there was a whole big thing of slaughtering Afrikaners, all the borders in Africa, in this region, okay, you would have people climbing the goddamn fences, all right, trying to escape. That's not happening. What you have a certain segment of the Afrikaner population that really resents living under majority rule. And that's what it's all about. And Donald is trying to use that as a wedge to come into Africa and basically see how much of the mineral wealth that he can rip off. In other words, Trump and this Republican Party are trying to be the new colonialists. Okay? And I do not feel that I'm betraying America when I say that Africa, you need to stand up and fight. Yes, Africa should trade with the whole world, but they should do it as equals and not as subservients. And the problem that you have now is that in the White House, you have a gang of people that think that this is 1890. And they have to be shown that the world doesn't play that shit anymore. And that's the problem that you have. You know, I'm going to tell you something interesting. Um, Eisenhower, Truman, he had the idea, okay? Eisenhower was the one that really started to put it in force. And the Kennedys picked up on that. And you know what that idea was? The idea was that some reason a merciful God decided to put every resource that you need to power a society in the latter 20th and going into the 21st century, gold, silver, bauxite, uranium, aluminum is in Africa in abundance. And they came up with the idea between Truman to LBJ, even Nixon. It doesn't look good to try and make treaties with people who happen to be dark when in America, the place that needs these materials and resources, they are brutalizing people of color. You know why I learned that? Guess who taught me that? Stokely Carmichael. No, Rap Brown. No, Malcolm X. No, two guys. Former CIA, former State Department. I was a junior NCO of a cosmic top secret clearance at the Defense Intelligence Agency. And before I started my duties, I had to attend the class. Those two gentlemen taught the class. And they showed us how the Soviet Union was going around the world of color, i.e., Asia, Africa, Latin America, showing pictures of black people being beaten, being bit by dogs because they wanted to vote or to use the public library. One of the reasons why we have such rocky relations in Africa is because of the fact that they saw, like the rest of the world, how America treated its black citizens. So now here comes Donald Trump. Basically, he wants to bring back Jim Crow in the United States, and he wants to talk to African leaders like they're Pullman porters or waiters. That's not good. That does not make my country America look good. It makes us look stupid, ignorant, and backwards. And that's wrong. You treat people with dignity and respect. But as I said earlier, this Trump crew, essentially they think that black people, especially leaders of black countries, are about a half an inch above the gorilla. Does that sound harsh? I hope so, because it's meant to be harsh, because it's true. They are trying to stifle people of color in the United States, and they want to carry that crap to Africa, that have the nerve to talk about trying to set up trade agreements so that they can scoop the resources off of the African continent. And I'm an American. I served this country's military for almost 26 years. Okay? I have a piece of my spine missing because of that service. But I'm not going to betray humanity because what is right and what is wrong is wrong. You cannot run around condemning DEI and saying things about, oh well, Haitians come to the United States to steal the neighbors' pets, their cats and dogs, and eat them, and then think that you're going to go to Africa and talk to African leaders like they're some kind of pet monkeys, and I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm sorry. You know, throw rocks at me, throw me off a cliff. I don't give a shit. I wish, for example, like the NAACP back home, I wish they would start standing up and speaking out because that's wrong. That's wrong. And the so-called black Republicans, I don't know what the hell they've been drinking. Okay, but why are you going to support an administration? Oh, I wouldn't call it an administration. I would call it a regime that runs through the halls of the Pentagon, tearing down black statues, pictures of black heroes that fought and died for this country, America. Why would you do that? And then think that you're going to come to Africa and disrespect the people that live here, disrespect the leaders. What did he say, that gentleman from Liberia? Oh, you speak English, which shows the bigotry and ignorance of Donald Trump. Liberia was an American colony for freed slaves. Of course, they speak English. Frankly, I believe that the leader probably speaks English better than Donald Trump. But see, this is the nonsense. And I don't know, where is the mainstream American media to point this out? Because it makes me heartsick. And if I sound like I'm bitter, you're goddamn right I'm bitter. You know why? Because I'm 70. And I see myself having to fight the same struggles that were going on when I was 15 and 16. I've freaking had it. I really have. And I would say to the American people, you need to get your head on straight because this planet, this world is not just about you. And it's time you grow up. And as far as these people in MAGA are concerned, you need to really figure out what the hell it is that you want. You want millions of Americans walking around with no health care? Somehow you think that that's part of a conservative agenda? I don't get it. In the Republican Party, you're a freaking disgrace. And if I were one of Lincoln's relatives, descendants, I would sue your ass if you ever curved your lips to say Party of Lincoln again. Period. Oh, and by the way, as far as the thing is concerned, yes, Donald is on the list. You don't even have to think about it. I'm a native New Yorker. I've been watching that clown since I was 13 years old, right? And everything that's happening to Trump now, he dug his own grave with his mouth, with his ego, with his attitude. Because just about every damn thing he did, he paraded his ass up and down Manhattan, okay, for all these years. And now he's surprised that it's caught up with him. I saw a picture of him, as a matter of fact, about 45 minutes ago. Him and his daughter. I guess she was about maybe 13 or 14 at the time. That's the type of picture that I would have taken with a girlfriend. As I was trying to put the moves on her, I would never have my daughter sitting up in my lap in that compromising type of position. And but see, this is what pisses me off about MAGA, Oath Keepers, all these people that pushed for the election of Donald Trump. Why didn't you talk to the people here in New York? Excuse me, I keep saying here in New York. So, with my Billy Joel, New York is on my mind. Why didn't you talk to people from the Northeast, right? From New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, right? We know this guy. Why the hell do you think that when he decides to jump into politics, he goes down south, right? Because he knows that, he felt that y'all were so damn stupid that you would never bother to check this cat out. My God, if I'm going for a job with my, people check my resume. But you guys didn't bother to do that because of your internal sexism and racism. You didn't care. He said he hated immigrants. He said Mexicans were coming into the United States murdering, bringing drugs, raping, killing. He went to the terrible hurricane in the Caribbean. He went to Puerto Rico. What did he do? He threw toilet paper at the people and paper towels at the people. Come on, said they were garbage. And the Latino leaders in this country, instead of coming out en mass and saying, no, we're not going to vote for that man because he disrespects us. What did you do? What the hell did you do? Right? Just like that baby that was down there. Oh, what you, Venezuelan? Oh, we love Trump. We love you. And next thing you know, they cotton off, right? They gets elected, they cotton off her husband, to what is it, uh, illegal immigrant camp or whatever. I mean, come on, when are people gonna wake up? I'm not even, oh God, the black for Trump. Any black organization that lets you, black Trump supporters, into the door, they need to lock up, they need to lock the door and destroy the key. Seriously. You have no business trying to tell black people what they need to do. Seriously. And you got these clowns. Look at one, oh God, Scott in South Carolina, and that other jigaboo in Florida that thinks he's going to become governor. I mean, come on, man. This man tears down heroes. He changes the names of naval vessels to put the names of traitors on those vessels and take off the names of a real American hero. And you expect black people to support you? You expect sane white people to support you? Why would anybody support a person that hates himself? Because at this point in time, the only person of color that was supported Donald Trump and the Republican Party is someone that hates themselves. Seriously. And before you start jumping down my case, let me remind you of something. I'm starting to say this a lot. Look at me very carefully, especially you folks there in New York, right? I'm Bobby Guns. My old man was the biggest Republican in Harlem. Okay, he ran for the assembly. And he had 5 teams for young male black youth: football, basketball, baseball, track. All right, to give those young brothers something to do, to foster competitiveness, to foster athletic achievement. My picture is up there in Columbia University, right? Because he had me on the team, and I was pretty damn good, to tell you the truth. I screwed up because I didn't follow through. But yeah, my family was a Republican family. So I don't want to hear this bullshit about I got some kind of mental thing against Trump or Republicans. No, same black people did not leave the Republican Party. The Republican Party left us. Mm. We got a problem, people. America has a problem. And you're going to have to make a decision over the next year and a half, maybe sooner. You're going to be a bunch of racists, right? Chasing dark people out of the country, or are you going to try and live up to the commitments? Okay? All men are created equal, blah, 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 blah. Uh, Women's rights, so on and so forth. You're going to live up to that, or you are going to wind up being in the garbage can of history. Real simple. And for you to put someone like a convicted criminal like Trump into the White House for a second time does not speak highly of you. And listen, I'll be the first one to tell you, I got some beef with Kamala Harris. I have some beef with Obama. Okay, but I think that if you had elected Kamala Harris, I think America would be in a hell of a lot better shape. Now I'm lying, all right, or I'm mistaken. Well, I tell you what, talk to the people who ain't got no Medicare. Oh yeah, Medicare also, because I understand they're going to try and mess with that also. So you tell me, and all of you, especially you folks from the so-called racists, you people with handicapped children, right? Trying to get them into public schools. What's the word? To try and bring them into the fold, right? You're happy with what's happened. You're happy that there's no Department of Education to speak of, huh? You happy with that? You think that's good for your kids? Look, we're human, which means we ain't perfect. That's why the man put erasers on pencils. We have our biases, we have our hang-ups. But there comes a time when you have to really sit down and think, what's best for me, what's best for my children, and what is best for the country, for the community that they're going to have to live in. And I think it's disgusting in these red states where people try to raise their kids to live in the 1890s. It ain't about that no more. Okay? To put it very simply, it's the 21st century. America is what, about 4% of the population on this planet. What did they teach you in kindergarten, right? Learn how to play with others. And that's something that America is going to have to do. Oh, what are you going to do? Go blow up the whole freaking planet because you can't have your way? Seriously, think about that. Yeah? You gonna come over to Africa? Man, you gonna trade with us under our stipulations, or what are you gonna do? You gonna send in the Marines? I mean, this madness has to stop. All right, it truly has. I understand skepticism, but God, good Lord, the insanity. And I know I don't talk like a politician because I ain't a politician. The only elected office I ever held, I was a delegate to the Virginia Convention for the governor back in, what was that, 78? And that's about it. I'm not, I'm not a politician. I'm a guy that served my country. I've seen a lot, and I have an opinion. Oh, speaking about opinions, what's her name? The lady that was supposed to be Epstein's girlfriend. Uh, Sweetheart, I would tell you, okay, don't. I don't think anybody's going to sell you any insurance. And if you meet with anyone from the Trump cabinet, Attorney General, what have you, for God's sake, make sure you have your lawyer sitting right next to you. Unless, of course, you actually believe that Epstein committed suicide. And if you believe that, there is a bridge going to Brooklyn that I would be happy to sell you. You know, that's my opinion. But you take it for what it's worth. So she's screwed because whatever happens, and she gets off good, then it will be, oh, well, she made a deal with Trump, right? Or if she wakes up in her cell one morning and she's looking at a bunch of people playing harps, you know, so she's kind of like in a no-win situation. So I think that that's why I say you better have your lawyer present with you. Okay. As far as testifying in front of Congress, if I were you, yeah, I would do it. But again, with the stipulation that my lawyer is sitting right next to me and that I have 24-hour protection and a ticket out of the United States. I'm serious because your life is not worth it's not worth a ticker's damn. Seriously. If everything that's we've heard so far is true about Epstein being an agent of Mossad and all these rich and powerful, connected politically, uh, wealthy people, yeah, you are definitely on a hot seat. Seriously. So I would be very, very careful. And I give you a bit of advice coming from an old New Yorker. If you believe a word that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth, you are a damn fool. And see, this is the kind of garbage, this is the crap that MAGA and middle America, this is what you put in the White House. We have people on the street, we have children sleeping in cars and in shelters, right? We have people going hungry in America. We have people that are being forced out of their residences because they just cannot pay the rent. And we have to be bothered with this garbage about, trafficking of underage women and all this other bullshit, money laundering. This is what the Republican Party has given us. And I tell you quite frankly, I don't understand how in the hell the Republican Party, why would you even bother running in any of these elections if you were a Republican? Because this is what your party has given the American people. I don't give a crap if you're in Florida or in New York or in California or in Texas or in Oklahoma. This is the garbage that you have given the American people to deal with at a time when our economy is in peril and we got to deal with this bullshit. Please, come on. And on top of that, what, 20, 25 years of wars in the Middle East? I mean, come on, man. And I was there for the first one. Enough is enough. And I'll tell you something. I am a registered Democrat. I am a progressive. I am woke. And I am pissed. Oh, and I'm also a member of DSA. And I would tell Democratic office holders, listen, pal, America has a lot of problems. And for you to sit up and constantly attack my man Mamdami running for mayor, I think it's the stupidest ass thing that you can do. I'll be quite frank about it. Number one, you claim that we live in a democracy, or you claim to be fighting for democracy. If that's true, let the people of New York City make their choice. That's what democracy is all about. Okay? You go out there, those of you who are running against Mamdami, go out there, shoot your arrows. Right? That's what politics is all about. But in the end, that's it. The people decide. And I'm so sorry that we have gotten away from that over the last 25 years, 25, 30 years. Right? If we're a democracy, I say I'm voting for Mamdami. That's it. End of discussion. Now we had the primary. Mamdami kicked your ass. The so-called moderate Dems, the so-called mainstream Dems here in New York, he kicked your ass. And you're angry about that. And I suspect that you're also angry because those people in the media who are running that damn debate, I'm trying to figure that out. You are for Channel 5 or Channel whatever, and you're asking, well, these people, now you're asking these people who are running for mayor of New York City, hey, if you are fortunate enough to win the election and become mayor of New York City, where's the first place you're going to go? What? You just said if you win the election for mayor of New York, where are you going to go? Why would you even ask a question about where this person's going to go? They just won the election to be mayor of New York City. Why in the freaking hell are they going anywhere? And because Mamdami stood up and answered the question, I ain't going nowhere. I just got elected mayor of New York. In your scenario, why the hell am I going anywhere? New York has so many problems. The first thing I want to do once I become mayor, I'm going to deal with the problems of New York. And for that, a whole building came down on this guy's head. And that is so freaking stupid. I mean, it is ridiculous. He ran to be mayor of New York. He did not. As a matter of fact, all of them ran to be mayor of New York. I did not hear one of them say, I'm going to be mayor of Tel Aviv or Jerusalem. So why would you even bother to ask that question? See, I don't believe this in this bullshit about, oh, well, they ask gotcha questions. And in the Navy, they always said there's no such thing as a stupid question. But I tell you, though, that commentator for that debate, uh, he came damn close. Huh? Why would you ask that? What are you trying to say? Right? Are you saying that, oh, well, Mandami's supposed to go to Jerusalem or Tel Aviv after he gets elected mayor? I don't want him to go to Tel Aviv. I don't want him to go to Jerusalem. Doesn't even enter into the goddamn equation. I want him to be mayor of New York. New York is my home. If you cut me, I'm going to bleed the D train. Okay? And I want him to fix the problems in the D train, in the subway system, and with the buses, and the high price of transportation, and the fact that people are being thrown out of their homes because they can't afford the rent because the rent's so damn high. And because you can't feed your kid a decent meal because of the food deserts, right? And because of the crime. Which, it's funny. Republicans, they love to talk about crime. Check them out. They love to talk about crime, but they never want to talk about what contributes to the crime, what contributes to the environment of crime. And I would say to the Republicans, have you ever read any Charles Dickens? Right? Have you ever seen the movie or read the story, The Christmas Carol? Okay? The poverty in Victorian London. Is it not? It doesn't sink in to your thick, bubble-headed conservative skulls, right? That a society can create criminals, right? You carry this bullshit thing about personal responsibility. Yes, we all have personal responsibility, but by the same token, we are all human, and we react to the environments that we are in. Now, some people, and I've known a few, right? And I'm by all means, yes, put them in jail, right? And throw away the key. I know I'm a woke progressive, and I should maybe some people think I shouldn't say that, but it's true. You have some people that are really effed up, and they need to be places for that. I'm not a believer in capital punishment, although I have come close in some cases. But I believe that you deal with what you find. Okay? And in America, we have this thing, we create criminals, you know. Why is it that we send a relatively minor crime, you send that cat to jail, why does he comes back worse? Just like I went to college to get a bachelor's in history, right? You send young kids to jail so they can get bachelor's and master's degrees in in crime. And that doesn't make any damn sense, you know. And I think Mamdami's approach to this whole criminal justice thing, I think it's the way to go. Um, ever talked to criminologists in Norway, Finland, Denmark? You know, I think maybe we need to start doing that. And no, and I just, oh, he wants to abolish the police department. Oh, no, God damn it, no. Hell no. Nobody wants to abolish cops. What we're saying is that you don't always have to use a hammer, right, to bang every nail. You don't use a hammer to swat butterflies, for God's sake. And I'm quite sure most sane, honorable, decent cops would rather be out there protecting the public from the real gorillas, from the real menaces, okay, than dealing with a lot of mental issues that some people have. And that's all they're saying. Nobody's saying anything about abolishing law enforcement. But see, this is what really pisses me off. The Republican Party of my mom and dad would not be saying that bullshit. But see, that's me living back in the late 50s and 60s, right? They wouldn't say that. You know, what the hell is wrong with trying something different? Nobody's saying that, criminals should not be punished. But we have a system now that perpetuates crime, and that needs to be looked at, right? That's something that we need to really start to deal with. America. One of the things that we produce more than any other Western nation, uh, we produce people in jail. We have the highest percentage of a population that's either locked up, right, getting ready to go to court to get locked up, right, or have been locked up. And I don't think that's good for that's not a good look for the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm sorry. Call me naive. And I think that's what Mamdami is trying to say. And this thing about attacking, oh, he wants to have communist Russian style food lines. And no, but you have whole patches in New York where you have what's called food deserts, right? Uh, Vegetables, fruits, stuff like that. These are things that people need, especially kids growing up. And what he's saying is, well, hey, maybe there's a better way to get this out to people, so that people can eat decent. I'm here in Uganda. Uganda is not, I would say, on the level of, say, New York. But these people are fortunate because they have, vegetables, greens. Oh my God, the greens all over the damn place, you know. And me coming from New York, right? Hey, Mickey D, where's my Big Mac? Okay, so I'm going through a thing myself, trying to adjust to having a lot of natural foods here. And I will tell you, it is good for you. I've taken off some weight since I've been here. Ooh, I'm sexy now. But for real. And give the man a chance. If you know your history, which unfortunately far too many Americans don't, when FDR took over at the depths of the Great Depression, what he did, he had his brain trust, right? And when they came up with all kinds of ideas. Some of them turned out to be pure bullshit, right? But what he said was, I want to save capitalism. So I'm going to try any and everything, right, that gets people out of the depths of the depression, gets them out of their own personal depression, and get things moving and keep people fed. Apparently it worked. Everybody said, well, he didn't, FDR, conservatives and Republicans are famous for this. Oh, well, FDR didn't, he didn't end the Great Depression. No, he didn't. Actually, World War II came along, and that helped a big deal. But he kept a lot of people alive that would have died if not for him and his brain trust. So I'm saying give Mamdami give him the same chance. And I think that Mamdami is the kind of guy that he will come out and say, listen, we tried this program so and so, didn't work. So we're going to try something else. And these business leaders there in New York, listen, business leaders, what the hell do you want? Are you satisfied uh, with homeless people living in subways? And down there was it in Grand Central Station and Penn Station on the old railroad tracks and what have you. Are you satisfied with that? Are you satisfied with kids having to stay in shelters and abandoned cars and what? I mean, what kind of people are you? Are you Americans? Give this guy a chance for crying out loud. What the hell has happened to us over the last 30 years? This whole thing about it's individual. Yeah, look, that was cool back in 1850, where you could take an axe and go in the forest and chop down your trees and build your cabin with the help from your neighbors. But we don't live in that kind of world anymore. A lot of things are different. And that's what makes this whole Trump, MAGA, Republican bullshit, that's what makes it so dangerous. Because it wants to take our country backwards. And, they're angry at the rest of the world because the rest of the world is saying, wait a minute, man, we're not getting on that train. Okay? We're trying to go forward. You're trying to go backwards. And apparently we're trying to feed other people. We're trying to figure out ways to feed our folks. You're trying to starve yours. And the American people need to realize that. And this race thing and this gender thing, it's killing us. You know why? Because demagogues like Trump pop up, and there'll be more of them, believe me. They'll be popping up. And as long as they think that they can use race and gender to get their way, to make you stupid and not think, they're going to do it. And it will tear down our democracy, just like Trump and his gang are trying to do. Unless you think that the end look of masked people in jackboots and heavy, infantry weapons, right, running down the street chasing down brown people. If you think that's a good look for democracy, remember we were the ones that were trying. We used to try to influence the rest of the world, say, yeah, democracy is the thing, baby. And now the rest of the world is looking at us saying, well, what is this, a repeat of 1934, Central Europe, Nazi Germany? I mean, hold up, man. It's time. It is time that we get the train back on the tracks. I guess that's really what I'm trying to get across. You know, I love America. I risk my life for America. And most importantly, I love what America stands for. And what I see happening now, uh-uh. This ain't America. It's not. And you elected officials back home, I wish you would start doing something about it. I'm going to try and do all I can while I'm here and when I come back home. But you folks, okay? And I will say this, especially you white Americans, you really need to ask yourself, is it more important for you to hate black and brown people or to leave your children a legacy of democracy and free people? Because that's the choice that you're going to have to make. And I'm going to tell you something, but what I see going on back there now, that choice is going to be coming a hell of a lot quicker than we would have imagined. I know everybody's talking about 28. No, that choice is going to have to be made a lot quicker. And to my brothers and sisters in the military of all colors and backgrounds, keep reading your Constitution. Seriously, because I got a feeling someday very soon you're going to be between a rock and a hard place and you're going to have to make a choice. Sorry, but freedom don't come cheap, has to be maintained. What did Ben Franklin say to that woman that asked him, hey, doctor, what did you give us? A monarchy or a republic? And what did he say to her? A republic, ma'am, if you can keep it. Listen, bless you all. Take care of each other. And this is Bob Gumbs with the Concerned Forum here in Uganda, Central Africa. Peace. Love you.